Manchester City and Arsenal respectively. Arsenal with a 5-point lead, City with a game in hand. One of them will be joining this list of title-winning goalkeepers. Edwin van der Sar featuring very high up there, 4 Premier League titles. How important is it, Edwin, do you think, to have a top goalkeeper for a title-winning team?
What do you think I'm going to say now? It's like not important or whatever. It's like,
can you win it without one?
No, you can't. I think whatever. Even doesn't matter how many good of players you have. You always get a breakout or something, or you're under pressure. And yeah, how nice it is when you have a capable guy between the sticks who can make the save that win you the game, or at 0-0 makes an important saves, or if you have those difficult games, maybe on a Monday evening you're 1-0 up, it's 87 minutes something, and it comes a corner, and the goalkeeper is there, claims the ball or makes a save in that minute. And I think both. Let's say City and Arsenal have extremely good goalkeepers, and a little bit different in style, but excellent in making the saves.
We will come on to their styles in just a moment. So we've got the titles in the left column. On the right-hand side tells us how many years they were at the club before they win their first title. So Ederson, for example, won it in his very first season. Why do you think that column is significant, Jamie?
I actually think this column is more important than that. In some ways, because I think what you've just said then, for me, a goalkeeper in terms of winning a title is almost the most important thing. I don't think you can win a title without a top goalkeeper, but I think you can win a top title. You can win a title without a top player in every other position except that. And the reason I think this is really important is because the outlier is really Joe Hart. Everybody else is a year or two. Once you get that right, that makes the difference between winning the league. So it takes a season or two. Basically, once you get the right goalkeeper and everything else is in place, you go and win the league. Because how often on this show do we look at teams and we just look at the goalkeeper and we say, they can't win the league with that goalkeeper, or now they can?
Well, this was an area particularly of real curiosity around Manchester City. If you remember at the start of this season when they signed James Trafford, there was speculation he might go to Newcastle. He went to Manchester City from Burnley. But then a couple of weeks later, having Trafford played a couple of games, they brought in Gianluigi Donnarumma from PSG. Do you think that was the difference maker potentially for Manchester City getting into a title race or not?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, it's also important. I think Donnarumma has the experience, not only for playing for the national team, winning the Champions League with Paris Saint-Germain. There were some rumours already that he wanted to leave, that the contract was not renewed, or there was a discussion. So for a club like Manchester City to have a top-notch goalkeeper, I think they had to wait for Donnarumma to come in.
And we didn't have to wait too long to see that the impact he was going to make at Manchester City this season. If you remember, he was thrown straight into the derby. And how about this?
Yeah, if that's your first game, it's the derby, and to pull up a save like that, it's tremendous, and it breeds confidence to your back four, for your supporters, and of course he's a big name, so he was not
he's a big man as well, 6'5", 6'6".
He's a big man. So yeah, actually normally as a goalkeeper you like to jump off. If you go to the right, you have to like to jump off from your right foot. But because he's so big, his reach is enormous. He can, of course, there's no time to put his feet on the ground. So just stick out his hand and as a almost a full hand behind it and saves it.
Yeah, the reach is amazing. So he's made a big save straight away. And, of course, then there have been those precarious situations which you've talked about. Away at Brentford, they're 1-0 up.
Yeah, but that's whatever. When do you help your team? You help your team when it's needed. And, of course, to collect the cross, to do the distribution, all fine. But to stand big, make sure you're is there. There's almost no gap for him to play the ball.
He doesn't seem to rush in, Edwin, does he?
That's experience, I think. And it changed a little bit in my time. Nowadays they all make that like an X, like something like that, to cover most of the goals, and that helps. And of course strikers, they look also how our goalkeepers coming out nowadays. So of course they're looking through the legs or little chip, and this one is just good enough for him to save.
And I think everyone is wondering, Edwin, might this be a save that makes the difference when it comes to the end of the season? Amazing game, amazing finish at Anfield, 2-1 up, and then he pulls this one out.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It's an incredible save, and of course we're not going to know till probably the last game of the season if this was a title-winning save. But it's not even fingertip save. He got a full hand on it. So
is there anything in the feet movements there, Edwin, when he jumps off?
No, of course. Yeah, initially probably the ball would have come more through the middle than to the side, because of the deflection it will come. And yeah, this one he needs that setup. He needs that step to reach that top corner ball.
Seems to
corner
take
save.
his time, doesn't he? And it's again that extraordinary reach, and we see some goalkeepers that would favour going with the other arm, I suppose, the wrong arm that we talk about.
I
where
think
he
we
just
all
goes-
thought, whatever, if you go to the right, take a step and you make the save. But sometimes maybe your position is just a little bit like this, and you take a different, and then you need to turn around. And I've made some saves. I see some make some saves, but initially, every goalkeeping coach teaches his goalkeeper to go and stretch with your right arm.
We always love huge goalkeepers with big presence like yourself, like Donnarumma, and that gives you maybe advantage.
It helps in that way.
Is there any? So it helps in this way.
Yeah, for example, we had, let's say, United Fabian Barthez. He was a much smaller, different goalkeeper. So you have to be, or maybe Pickford also a little bit. You have to be really good reactions, good jump, and goalkeepers with a little bit of height. Yeah, we have an advantage. Maybe a little bit not so quick, but you have your frame to block a lot of things, and you have to reach with your arm.
But it's an amazing save. Is that the sort of thing that you would work on a lot in training, or does this sort of save come down to instinct in that moment?
That's instinct. Of course, there are many exercises you do working with the goalkeeper coach, with the other goalkeepers. Sometimes with your back four, finishing drills, obvious. But these kind of things, you can't train. That's pure class, to be fair. What he pulls out of his head here and this one.
Different profile, David Raya. We think 5 inches shorter for a start, so of course he's going to be a different type of goalkeeper to Gianluigi Donnarumma, but again capable of making incredible saves. And what you were talking about, sometimes it's a bit more with him. You see that reflex save that perhaps the smaller man is more capable of.
Yeah, that's the one, and it looks great also at a let's say slightly smaller goalkeeper and everything. But these kind of saves, whatever, of course it's near him and everything. If it goes left, 1 meter left or right to him, but still you have to stick out your hand and bring it into the crossbar.
Crucial save at 1-0 at home against Brentford as well, so that's been worth a couple of points potentially.
Normally a goalkeeper never can really win the game for you or something, because always a striker, but these kind of saves are important and talked about.
What a save. This is 2-1 up against Brighton.
Okay, yeah, you see he steps himself, and that's a fingertip save and everything. And this will have to go really in the top corner. It's not completely there, but this is immense. And you see also the step that he takes to really get that height, because this one is higher than the one earlier from Donnarumma to save.
Sometimes we see goalkeeper jump from one leg, from a left foot here, and the leg comes underneath the sweep, or they make the step, as we've seen. David Raya here, we've seen Donnarumma, I think, against Manchester United. How quickly can you sort of work out when a shot's being made, what foot you're jumping from?
Yeah, of course. First you have to, you see where the ball comes from, whatever. It's a defender in front of it, and then it comes in. Yeah, you train. You did so much training. Training ground, all the games that you played in the past. So you start to recognize those patterns, how a striker gonna shoot, which deflection is gonna get. So in that way, it's same that you know if a cross comes in, that's mine, or I have to take a step back and control it. So it becomes a second nature for goalkeepers to get this important saves.
Of course, Edwin, you know better than anyone the scrutiny around goalkeepers, and particularly when you are chasing major trophies, when you're chasing the title. And we saw this on last Wednesday night against Wolves, with Arsenal at 2-0 in front in the game against the bottom side.
Yeah, of course, football's a lot about communication, talking with each other, and this one it's not a great image for the goalkeeper itself, of course. And then it got deflected, goes to his legs. But you can't really afford too many of these, of course, during the season. Of course, he's the #1 goalkeeper, but in the run-up towards the league, to the end of the league, it's important to show that you're there, show that the quality is there, that you can convince everybody there's no goal to make here.
So why then is this so important? Is just the next game? He wants to get that next game straight away. He must be thinking, I need to make a big save for my team. And this was a really crucial moment in the North London derby.
Absolutely, whatever. Never, and you get taught also never give up on the ball. There's always a possibility, and maybe the first 2 times you're not getting it, but you have to go every ball. You need to go.
I mean.
You hard to seize it and everything, and so
yeah. But when you think of the pressure goalkeepers are under, right, the save from Donnarumma and the mistake by David Raya at Wolves, that's give us the title race right now. Before that, we were all saying the title race
probably would have been
over.
a bigger distance between the two.
Of course.
I think that helps.
And that shows how important and how vital your role is. Basically, we're talking about one moment away at Wolves in the last minute and then one moment for Donnarumma. That's how important goalkeepers are, especially in a title race.
Does it make a difference that Donnarumma has won so much already and comparatively David Raya has
We're focusing
not?
now a lot on goalkeepers, but there's still 10 other players. So you have the strikers who have to score the goals, the defenders there. But he has experience. He won the Champions League for Italy. So that's there. David Raya, it's relatively unproven, let's say. But he's making excellent strides, and I think the form that Arsenal has, and of course there's a lot of talked about are they up for the fight? And I think they show that Tottenham was a little bit in a bad situation with all the injuries. But probably going to go down to the wire, and that makes football nice for us to watch.
That's what we want.
You don't want 12 points gap.
That's a nice banner as well, isn't it? from an Evertonian at Hill Dickinson tonight. OK, we've made that comparison in terms of trophies, but I'm going to give you something else to think about now, Edwin, because we've partnered here with Goalkeeper.com, Goalkeeper XG, the leading goalkeeper data providers, who've provided us with these metrics to dig a little bit deeper on this goalkeeper comparison. Dr. John Harrison, Jamie, your old friend, is at the heart of this as well. So the overall ranking is right at the top, and then the categories below them. And you can see that green means they are top 5 in those categories. Red means they are bottom 5 in the Premier League for those categories. So I will jump past you, Edwin, and you can see that straight away that David Raya, in their view, is much superior to Donnarumma when you take in all of the categories. This one, you might say, and I can hear Roy Keane almost, in my ear saying that this is the most important one, shot stopping, where Donnarumma is top 5 in the league and David Raya is considerably weaker in that area. One-on-ones, Donnarumma is better, but when it comes to shot handling, actually not as good as David Raya. And this is where you see the strength of Raya, the cross-claiming, and that was a rare mistake that he made in that game at Molineux last week, because he's in the top 5 for that. For the sweeping, which I know that you will like to hear about.
I love that
as well.
statistic. That was one of the things that I really love. Whatever, get out of the box and everything, and making sure you collect the ball before the striker's there.
And distributing, how you contribute to your team going forward as well. So does all that sort of match what you see in terms of the way these goalkeepers measure
Maybe I
up?
would have thought a little bit, maybe favoured a little bit more, maybe Donnarumma. So the shot stopping is there. It's obvious to see. But yeah, so you see that data, the statistics are there, not only the eye of the expert that makes a difference, that can see it. But
what would you say? Would you say this is more important than anything, or would you say actually
general,
you
I
talked
think
about
for
the pressure of coming and catching crosses late in games?
Well, it depends, of course, how do you defend? Are you playing really high up and everything, or you're absorbing the pressure a little bit high on, or you put an extra striker in for the last 10 minutes and still try to score another one? But yeah, a goalkeeper is there to save shots, so to stop the ball going into the net. And of course, it's great when you can collect the ball and cross it and try to distribute it. For me, it's about shot stopping.
But Jamie, if you looked at that data, you've got to sign one of these goalkeepers. Who are you taking?
In this title run, I think I would take Donnarumma, just because he's been there in terms of the pressure moments. You talk about the Euro final at Wembley in that penalty shootout. He's player of the tournament in there. The level he's played at before as well. Raya hasn't sort of got those honours. I love Raya. I think he's absolutely fantastic. But I think probably for the average football fan, when you think of a goalkeeper making saves to win the league, and everyone will just look at that. So probably this sort of the technicalities of it is probably, for an average football fan. I remember the save Neville Southall made at White Hart Lane, I think, from Mark Falco. That's what you remember, a big save. If Man City win the league, everyone will remember that save that he made at Anfield. And maybe there's more saves to come from both goalkeepers.
I should point out as well, what Goalkeeper.com told us was that the other categories beyond the shot stopping, Donnarumma's actually been improving as the season has gone on, maybe as he's adapted.
I think David is coming from the Premier League. He played at Brentford for a while, and of course every season I did myself. Of course, I played in Holland. Italy was not fitted to my style of goalkeeping. Then in the Premier League, the 10 years that I played, 4 years with Fulham, 6 years at United, I thrived on the way the English game was. And sometimes strikers also don't have the right club in the right country that doesn't fit the system. And when you move to another club, and certainly you start scoring. And that's the same, I think, for goalkeepers. So to adjust to the Premier League, what is needed, or David knowing what the Premier League is about.
We can show you some other examples of these other categories, Edwin. And, you know, you've talked about the sweeping, which, of course, you were one of the first to do with your education at Ajax. Particularly, I think, with David Raya, this is something that he's got a bit of a reputation for, hasn't he?
It's really interesting watching the thought process of him as well, Edwin, where he makes the decision there.
Yeah, of course. There's still a gap. There's nothing on at the moment. But suddenly there's a through ball. And the first, maybe he thought like, okay, the player can get it. And then the second, no, it's past the player, and so I can come out now. So that game, what are the distances? That's something that of course you speak about with the manager and with your goalkeeper coach. And what do you need in a goalkeeper? So with this kind of situations, I think the defenders, Jamie, you will know, you're happy at a certain point when your goalkeeper comes out.
It was funny when we brought Pepe Reina into Liverpool, and
this is a great example, Jamie. This is a great example.
It's fantastic. But it's reading the game, but it's also having pace. And I go back to Pepe Reina coming in, first probably sweeper keeper I played with, certainly at Liverpool. And I remember Rafa Benitez describing him as quick. And I'd never heard anyone describe a goalkeeper as quick. It'd always be, shot stopping, handling
Probably helped you a little bit.
It helped me an awful lot, of course it did. But you're talking about the detail now, about what you're going, and it's probably a completely different level now as well. That was 20 years ago. But just little things that you remember and stick in your mind, how, people judge goalkeepers and what they need.
I think the transformation from the goalkeepers making only the saves to distributing, being part of trying to keep the possession, playing outside the box. It's changed a lot. I retired 15 years ago, but like the pressure, the things they have to do now,
well, maybe
it almost makes them really like an 11 player. And certain moments you play really from the goal kick. Yeah, whatever. The centre half is playing the ball to the goalkeeper in whatever, on 2 yards. You're okay. You play somebody at the 18-yard line, and then they play the ball bad. It's become like a real.
Edwin, what about the sort of the cycle that we've seen in terms of the increase in set pieces as well, and being able to hand that physical confrontation, often with so many markers crowded around you and attackers in your area?
Of course, the last year, 2 years, whatever, they changed a lot. And if you see how Arsenal set it up, and normally you'll find, okay, you like to have somebody there, maybe for the goalkeeper, but then you have everything in front of you. But now, they're coming, 4 or 5 guys are coming from the back. You don't know when they're coming or what they're going to do. So it's been a very important part of.
Do keepers need more protection?
No, I don't need more protection. Honesty is important, but you want space around you. So I was like, when they come out, whatever, you have 1 or 2 steps and you could claim it or punch it away. But nowadays, you're surrounded, so it's a difficult one.